We have a liquid metal core! You don't know what it's gonna do!
Hey everybody, welcome to Back Issues. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
I'm Ben.
I think I planned on doing this book back when the MCU still had these characters around. But they don't anymore, except for Spider-Man, of course. But here we are anyway, with 1991's The Vibranium Vendetta. I don't even think there's a Vendetta, but there also isn't any Vibranium, so whatever.
It's alliterative. That's what matters.
What's great is it's also called the Vibranium Vendetta unless you get like the trade, and I believe in it they call it Vibranium Vendetta. And I'm like, whoa, it was the Vibranium Vendetta when I read it.
Well, this is just a Vibranium Vendetta.
Of all the Vibranium Vendettas, and I assume there's at least two, because Vibranium's been around for a long time, and it's like, it's too alliterative. I can't waste it on this amazing Spider-Man annual story arc that went across 3 issues, amazing, spectacular, and web of. It features Iron Man and Black Panther teaming up to battle classic villains like the Ghost and Ultron.
The Ghost?
I
Like
know that
the
one.
Holy Ghost?
No! The industrial spy for hire, who was in an Ant-Man movie and is nothing like the Ghost in the comics.
Oh, that Ghost.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not a ghost. Or the Ghost. And he has like a suit that does stuff.
Yeah,
he
like he'll
could-
become incorporeal.
Yeah, he could
That's
go
pretty
invisible.
powerful.
It is, and he uses it for industrial espionage. It's
I mean,
so lame.
No, that really makes sense.
Yeah,
I
well,
can
that's the
get
thing.
in anywhere, and I can get out with anything.
Yeah, no, the Ghost is an entrepreneur. He's a straight shooter with upper management written all over him. Like, this dude does not overstep.
thief.
He is a thief.
He's a criminal.
Yeah, but he's not an idiot.
Okay.
Right.
He's not going to fight the Avengers.
not gonna, like, rob a bank.
He might rob a bank, but by way of stealing important documents.
Yeah, like
from
getting
a
passwords
bank.
and stuff so they
Exactly.
can hack it and take the money
He'll
out.
get paid by an intermediary who will rob a bank.
Right. So he's protected.
Exactly.
Now, is he allowed to like take things? Can he make things incorporeal, much like Kitty Pryde?
I've only seen him cause himself to be incorporeal.
So if he
though-
picks something up, people will see it floating around.
I don't
No,
know
I don't
about
think.
that.
I don't think he could pick it up when he's incorporeal. Is the thing. But he could steal data.
He can steal things physically when he's invisible, but I don't think he makes those things invisible when he touches them.
So people would see them floating.
They would. But he's also really good at what he does. Most
Wait.
of the things he's stealing are secrets
What if he does like
or
this?
files.
Like he puts his body around
I
it.
think
It's
I think that would work.
So-
Yeah. Well, he like puts it behind it. He has a cape.
That's making
and the
himself
cape's
invisible.
incorporeal.
Yes.
Can he be
Yeah.
incorporeal
Can
where
he
things
pass
will
through
pass through
objects
it?
like the
Yes, he
Ghost
can pass
in-
through objects, but he needs to deliberately do it. He has to go into like incorporeal mode.
Okay.
He can be
So he has a
invisible.
choice.
He can be invisible. He can be incorporeal, and he can be both.
Right.
But he has to choose.
Okay.
Okay.
It's not like when he's invisible, he's also incorporeal. Because at one point he's battling with an adversary, and he's invisible but not incorporeal, and he
Right.
says, "Blast! I needed to make myself incorporeal, but I didn't have time, and now my goose is cooked."
Right. They can punch me and stuff.
Yes, because they turn on like the sprinkler system, and they're like, "Oh, there you are."
Okay.
Now I don't know why he didn't make himself incorporeal at that exact moment and leave.
Maybe the water screwed up the system so he couldn't.
Like a predator.
It's too late. Yeah.
No.
Or he has to like do it well in advance. It takes me like a half hour to go incorporeal.
No, he does it instantaneously. No, the ghost is really powerful.
He makes himself invisible. Then he's just like, damn, I can't see the controls.
Yeah.
Where's the button to be incorporeal?
He should know it by now.
I gotta make
He
myself
can-
visible so I can see the button and then
Yeah.
make myself incorporeal.
That would be like a rookie ghost. This is an old ghost. This ghost knows his systems. So this is written by David Michelinie with art by Guang Yap. I never liked the art in this, and it only gets more weird as his deadline gets tighter. But it's fine. It does the job.
It's an older book,
When's it from?
1991.
but it checks out.
Okay.
No shade to Yap. He's given us a Spider-Man book that I've never seen look like this in my life. And that's saying
Okay.
something.
It's unique.
It is unique, entirely unique.
All of them?
I want all
The
of it.
copies you have are my
really only want
copies when
this
I was a
one.
kid.
Oh wow.
That looked familiar, but it's not an image I've seen.
No.
So you
Part
had this
3.
whole arc.
I did. When you're a kid and you are like buying comics at garage sales and stuff, you get what you can find.
Yeah.
Right.
And for the longest time, I had Spectacular Spider-Man, which is part 2, and I was just like, interesting, I guess.
even know.
I don't know what started the vendetta, and I don't know how it ended, but I know this chapter really well. And a couple of years later, like I filled in the gaps. But it's also collected in this epic collection, which may or may not be out of print. If it's available, it's in the comments down below. Otherwise, it's not. But again, you can get this for cheap. This also collects Round Robin, the Sidekick's Revenge, which is that Moon Knight Punisher Nova team up, which has an inexplicable amount of views for some reason. I'm like, what? People really liked that episode for some reason. Okay.
It's the only episode where you can see all those 3 characters ever.
That's true.
And there's so many people Googling that they all just wound up there.
Well, we did it because of the Moon Knight show.
Oh, yeah.
So,
maybe
you
that's
know.
the one time that actually worked.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's true.
And then they're like, Sidekick's Revenge?
Yeah.
Ugh! I mean, I'll watch it, but okay.
All right. Night Thrasher. Damn it.
You bamboozled me, ComicPop.
This is really weird. And you could tell that, like, Michelini's having fun, but it's not as goofy as I remember it, but it's also not nearly as serious as it probably should be. So here we go. Spider-Man is in the midst of a burglary from Empire State University, where, at this point in time, he is a grad student / employee
Okay.
at the university.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
he's a TA or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's working with Doc Swan and Anne Marie, and David Michelini also was writing for Iron Man. And so Michelini's like, I'm going to link my Iron Man books and my Spider-Man books in this annual event and nowhere else, and it'll be weird, and it'll pay off stories that I wrote a year or 2 ago for no reason whatsoever. He gets like something stuck in his craw where I'm like, Spider-Man, like, I appreciate, sometimes he's like, man, what's going on with Betty Brant? I have to find out. And I'm like, dude, leave it alone. But he gets something stuck in his craw, and I'm like, this is one of those, you put it into the later pile.
Right.
So Spider-Man happens upon what looks like a robbery of Empire State University. Bunch of dudes loading boxes into vans.
Oh, no.
So he shines the spider signal on them and gets the drop on them, and they're like, please stop, we're employees! And he just kicks their ass. And
Yeah. Well,
That's
punch
good.
first, ask questions later.
that is a classic Spider-Man trope. That is something he does.
That's what he does. He's
Yeah.
just all about the violence.
I can't give them a chance to get the drop on me. What if they have guns?
Right? So he cracks open one of the boxes and he finds a metal desk chair that has been melted. And he's like, what's up with that? And
That
this is
is
the thing
suspicious.
he cannot let go of. What melted that chair? Why is it melted? Why were they leaving Empire State University with it?
Well, why didn't you
What's
just
the
ask
story?
them?
Right? Well, because he's horribly embarrassed. Because Arthur Dearborn comes out, he is a representative of the Roxxon
Like,
Corporation.
hey, what are you doing?
Yes, these are employees. I hire these guys to help load stuff out of here on behalf of Roxxon. Roxxon, of course, is a evil oil company. Roxxon had a similar oil spill around the exact same time. Haha, ripped from the headlines. Just know that if it's Roxxon, it's bad.
don't
Yeah,
worry,
they're
it's evil.
bad big business.
Yes. Arthur Dearborn is also a David Michelini invention. This dude is a rube and a toolbox. F Arthur Dearborn forever. I hate this guy.
Okay, but he's not a bad guy.
He's not a bad guy. He's a dumbass.
Okay.
That's what Arthur Dearborn is. He's also, in his own right, a superpowered being. But we'll find that out later, much like I did as a kid, being like, I'm sorry, what the fuck?
Now you know why he's in the book.
Because David Michelini's like, I never finished that up. Like, I never closed the circle on Arthur Dearborn. And I won't in this either. So Arthur Dearborn's like, hey, get the fuck out of here. And Spider-Man's like, okay, bye.
Sorry.
Yeah, because he's like, look, I appreciate that what it looks like is a robbery, but it isn't, so leave. And we
I
won't
like
press
that
charges.
2 like blue collar guys are like moving stuff, and he's like, "Hey!"
What's
and then
going
a
on
guy in
here?
a suit comes out and says, "No, it's okay." And he's like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, all right,
Like,
sorry.
but they said it was okay too.
Well, he didn't give him a second.
They said we've got orders, and he punched
Yeah,
him.
but like, orders from whom?
Right.
Tombstone, the Kingpin?
Yeah, they had tattoos and stuff.
Yeah.
But this guy now says
Yeah.
it's cool.
Yeah, Professor Stuffshirt over here.
Well, he could just be their criminal boss.
I know.
Could he be lying?
He could just be lying.
Sure.
Like, what? This is very arbitrary who Spider-Man chooses to trust.
I know.
Yeah.
He didn't sense danger from the guys who were taking the boxes.
That's right.
No,
he
that's
just
true.
saw them and was like, okay, well, because they don't pose a danger.
They weren't a danger. It
Not
was
to him.
suspicious.
Yeah.
It's just him putting on
Yeah,
his
but
crime fighting
he's
hat.
used his spider sense before to like tell when things are off.
That's true. He does.
He does,
That's
yeah.
very selective. So he's like, that's interesting. Roxxon is working with ESU to find an alternate source for Vibranium because those Wakandans keep everything to themselves.
Oh.
And why should they hide their
Vibranium
resources?
Vendetta.
Oh.
It's going to be a vendetta against the hoarding of Vibranium.
That's right, exactly. So Roxxon is looking to make an alternate source for Vibranium.
Okay.
And that's what they're working with ESU to do because they have like a whole host of grad students and stuff. Actually, it's funny because if you are a fan or a participant in the higher education system, you might recognize some plot points here because there is some like infighting between two different scientific departments over the priorities that are being given by the university based on their level of research. Like there are a couple of botanists named Chip and Ethan, one of whom looks especially like you.
What?
Although Chip is murdered viciously by Carnage in his first appearance, so don't get too attached to Chip. He does occasionally pop up. So Spider-Man's like, what's up with that chair? And maybe it has something to do with the vibranium thing. I don't know. Why did it melt? That's weird. And
None of your business.
He goes home and Mary Jane's wearing negligees and he's like, well, that's the end of that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Well, I guess I'll just get over it.
Yeah, maybe.
Wakes up the next morning.
The
But
chair!
That chair, though.
It's true. He won't let the chair go. He
Was the
doesn't-
chair made of vibranium?
No, it's just made of metal.
No.
No.
But it's made of metal, and vibranium is metal.
Yes.
What's the connection?
What's the connection? There is a connection, unfortunately.
Of course there is, otherwise that wouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
There better be a connection, otherwise why are we talking
That'd
about
be
it?
freaking boring as hell.
Yep.
So we go to Kingpin's high-rise.
Oh,
The
boy.
ghost appears. Kingpin does not like that the ghost can just come and go as he pleases in Kingpin's office. But
Yeah, well, he
kill
can't stop
me.
him.
that's true, but he does keep it kind of like under his hat. He's like, all right, I don't care for this, but I won't let you know that I'm uncomfortable with it. That's
You
for my
just
thought
said it out
balloons.
loud.
No, that's for his thought balloons to,
Oh, okay.
to reveal. But anyway, he's like, look, I want to hire you because I hear that the Roxxon Corporation is working on an alternate source for vibranium, and I want you to break into ESU. And the ghost hates Roxxon, so he's like, sweet, that sounds great. I will do the espionage for the price you offered, but I will rough up the place for nothing. And he disappears.
Oh, okay.
And Kingpin's like, and I need to ghost-proof my office.
Note to self. Yeah, he disappears through the floor.
Yeah.
Well, what happens when you get through the floor? Do you just fall?
Thud. He goes invincible so he doesn't embarrass himself.
No,
Yeah.
he keeps falling at a
just keeps
faster and
falling,
faster
yeah.
speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and eventually you have to become corporeal again, and it gets worse every second that you don't hit something.
That's right. He's gonna hit the
No,
center of the earth.
You're going to be going faster and faster.
No, he has to like rocket all the way through the center of the earth, come out the other
Oh,
side,
and then, like, bounce
rocket
back?
all the way back up, but it'll be slightly less high, and then it'll be like, all right, I can stop here.
Yeah. It's a long
You
process.
could do that. It would take hours.
But it's a really
Maybe
impressive
days?
display of
It
power.
would take,
It would take at
maybe
least a couple
weeks.
days. Yeah.
It would take a long time.
It would be forever. He might die of thirst before he actually makes it back to the top.
Yeah, is he affected by things when he's incorporeal?
Yeah,
like,
would the heat
can
at the
you
center of the
breathe-
earth hurt him?
Right? I don't know.
Could the heat hurt him?
Right,
Can he breathe air?
Right.
Okay, so here's the
Because
thing.
he's not corporeal, so how could he breathe?
If he is incorporeal and he's shot at, the bullets pass through him. The
Right.
bullets have heat. He's not burned by the bullets, so I would presume that no elements can affect him while he is incorporeal.
Yeah, so then how does he breathe?
Right. Maybe he takes a big breath before he does it.
Yeah, like a diver.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Anyway, so Pete walks past Chip and Ethan's office, and they're like, hey, come over here, Pete. We need your help. And he uses his spider strength by accident to lift a giant heavy microwave emitter over to some plants because they're botanists and they're looking to solve like the world's hunger problems or something by using microwaves to see if they can advance the like growth of plants to make like super plants. You know, it's every sci-fi plot regarding botany. I want to make potatoes. I want to make super potatoes. And so it's like if one potato feeds like a family, a super potato could feed like a country. And so ESU is giving more resources and money and attention to the synthetic vibranium task, and not enough to their botany plan.
To their
and
stupid potatoes.
it's sour grapes for Chip and Ethan, and I'm like,
Your point?
Yeah.
but Peter's
That's
not
a
even
thing that
working on
happens.
this project. Like, it's not even affecting the protagonist. This is affecting the protagonist's side characters, none of whom have last names.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. This is all to build an elaborate universe that they live
Yeah.
in.
I mean,
It's
is
world building.
We are world building,
Yeah.
and I mean, like, it is sad that Chip is murdered viciously by Carnage at one point. And so
Right.
we need these stories here to build up our care for Chip.
Right, and
I don't
I'll
know
come
about
up with
Ethan,
something to do with these characters later.
Exactly. So there is a kind of like event celebrating.
Roxxon, it looks like.
Yeah,
Are they just
Rock-
sponsoring it?
Yeah, Roxxon sponsoring it.
Nice.
And King T'Challa, aka the Black Panther, is at the event, as is Mary Jane, but she's there for like secret hospital and stuff. Like not to shoot, she's there as like a public figure,
Yeah.
you know, as an actor.
She got an invite.
Exactly. Pete snaps a picture of both of them, introduces himself to T'Challa. T'Challa's very friendly and diplomatic, and basically what he's saying is like, our economy is entirely dependent on the exclusivity of Vibranium. And so I'm here to assess whether it is in jeopardy thanks to Roxxon, who, as we all know, sucks. Also, Iron Man is here. And so Iron Man pops in. In the Iron Man books, Tony Stark is dealing with body problems, as every book we've ever done about Iron Man can attest.
Well, he made the suit one size.
Yeah, now this is one of those things where, like, I think it's actually after Armor Wars 2, where it's like, remember when he was all, like, fucked up?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's still dealing with that, and basically...
Come inside me.
No, it's not that suit. Every 10 years or so, they gotta rehash the, oh, I've gotta wear the suit to keep me alive trope, because that's what you know about Iron Man. So in this case, he's like, falling apart. Like, he has synthetic skin he's wearing over bionics to try and like keep his body from like just falling apart. So he's again like trapped in the suit. And he's wearing like imaging displayers when he's Tony Stark. Like, he's wearing an Iron Man suit, having a holographic projection of Tony Stark over the Iron Man suit. So it's like, hey Tony, you're looking huge right now. Like,
Yeah, you look about 6'5".
and like wider. Like, they don't get into it.
Why are you wearing those huge boots? It's just real weird.
I am the great and powerful Tony Stark.
Yep.
I am the great and powerful Tony Stark.
So that's what's going on with Iron Man. You know, Iron Man is just like, I'm trapped in my suit. Because people are wondering, like, why did Tony Stark send his bodyguard Iron Man to this event that Tony Stark should absolutely be at? And instead, Iron Man's here, like, sipping, you know, from a juice box. And he's like, if only they knew that my body was falling apart. And so he ends up bumping into Arthur Dearborn, whom he fought when Arthur Dearborn was involved in a Roxxon plot, which also involved this goonish head of Roxxon, Jonas Hale, who looks suspiciously like Stan Lee. And I'm kind of like, I wonder if Michelani is taking the piss out of Stan in this particular case, because Stan is constantly suing Marvel or being sent up for his treatment of Jack Kirby at some point or another.
Right.
Whatever. All I know is, this is Stan. And I don't know why Jonas Hale is Stan Lee, but I'm sure that there is like a blog post somewhere that will explain it. I'm Jonas Hale, and I love money. Arthur Dearborn is also this. Okay, so there's a previous plot. Roxxon made like a space station.
Oh, wow.
The space station was called Starwell. And Starwell is basically like a space station that's meant to like absorb solar radiation that they can like harness and use. And
It's collecting like a well.
yes,
More like a star sponge.
it is. And it like transmits the energy via microwaves to Earth, and they can use it.
That's actually a proposed method of transmitting power to Earth, because solar panels in space would be more efficient
Right,
than
than
solar
they
panels
are
on
on
Earth,
Earth.
because the Earth's atmosphere blocks a bunch of the energy. But if you could collect the power in space, and then you could beam it down from the collection point via microwaves and convert it into electricity that way, and you could have it like any time of day. Because
because
the
there's
sun
no
shines on solar
clouds.
panels, and then the solar panels are coming at a different angle, so even nighttime you could beam the power down.
See, that actually is the plot of that Iron Man story.
There we go.
And Arthur Dearborn volunteered to be like the one-man crew that ran Starwell.
Okay.
Well,
After,
he got baked like a potato.
after he was transformed into the Centurion, which is a Iron Man ripoff character who Arthur Dearborn turns into as a result.
Transformed?
Yeah, he was hit by microwaves or whatever, and he became the Centurion.
It's this guy? He's the Centurion?
Yeah, Arthur Dearborn, this mild-mannered goon, is also a interesting-looking Iron Man villain who is also a corporate stooge who believes that Roxxon is a benevolent corporation that would never lie to him. And so he traded his entire life to be on Starwell, which, by the way, crashed to Earth and was destroyed. But also, he got to be Centurion and fight Iron Man in space, which is kind of cool.
Right, and then he just stopped? Because now he's not doing that.
Well,
he's just a guy right now.
Well, right now he's Arthur Dearborn, who still works for Roxxon. But, you know, if he were to become Centurion again, then he could Centurion it up.
Do
But
people know he was the Centurion, or
they
it's like
straight
a
up
secret?
don't. No, it is a secret.
I see.
And also, I don't think that Arthur can transform into the Centurion now, but if he were, let's say, hit with a microwave emitter, then he might suddenly become the Centurion again and then be in the book. Which, of course, he will.
Well, it's a shame we don't have one of those hanging
Unfortunately, there will not be any Centurions in this book. Oh, wait, I'm kidding. He shows up at the end of this issue. So they are kind of like in this weird, tense moment because Iron Man...
They know that they fought each other, right? Or
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't know that Iron Man knows that he's Centurion, but he knows he fought Iron Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Iron Man knows that Dearborn is Centurion.
Ah,
And Centurion fought Iron Man, but Centurion doesn't know that Iron Man is Tony Stark.
right. Interesting.
Stark knows everything about Dearborn. Dearborn knows nothing about Iron Man, except that they fought.
So why isn't Iron Man like, hey, this guy's the Centurion?
Oh, because A, no one knows what that means because he fought him in space for Roxxon all by himself.
I see.
And B, the Centurion doesn't do anything bad. He works for Roxxon, which,
see.
Roxxon gets to carry on business all the time.
Right.
It sounds like he rides the sun in a chariot.
Yeah, that would be what that name would imply. Instead, he just looks like Iron Man and shoots energy blasts.
So he's Iron Man.
But why is it? Yeah. But no suit. He just looks like he has a suit.
Yes. That's the thing, is that he looks like he has a suit.
He becomes a bug. It's like an exosuit.
It is.
Even the Iron
like a
Man
Guyver
villains
suit.
that don't have suits have to look
to-
like they have suits. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
I know.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. And he can conjure the suit. He'll transform his arm as Arthur into Centurion, and it's got the stupid gauntlet thing around it. What, that just conjures out of nothing?
Yeah, what is it connected to?
Nothing.
Well, he's got a little coin
Just
on his
floating
belt,
on-
and he says, "It's Centurion time!"
So Jonas has them set up a sheet of their synthetic vibranium, which is essentially like a sheet of tinfoil. And they set it up between himself and another member of the stage, and then bids the other participant in the event shoot at Jonas with a gun between the sheet.
Oh.
And it
Seems
absorbs
dangerous.
and reflects the vibrations of the bullet, rendering it inert and saving Jonas's life, proving that their synthetic vibranium, which they're calling New Form, works flawlessly.
So
Okay.
that's the size of the vibranium sheet.
Yeah.
I'd love it if this guy missed and just shot
shot him in
above
the
it
neck.
Yeah,
right in
right?
the chest.
Like, yeah, make sure you aim at my crotch, otherwise you'll hit me.
Right.
This is very dangerous because this guy is probably trained to shoot for center mass. So even if he knows that he's not supposed to, he's supposed to aim
his-
low.
his
Like
training
he
will
might
take over.
Yeah.
Vibranium sheet with center mass.
It's like
It's not
it's like
chest level.
here.
It's like lower ribs down.
Yeah, it's right at that boundary.
It's dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weirdly low for no reason.
Yeah. So Hale's like, it's a success. New Form is the future. Fuck Wakanda. Here we go, baby. Because we're Roxxon, we're in bed with everybody. The U.S. government's jerking each other off. Every single tycoon is just salivating over the concept of getting vibranium on pennies on the dollar.
Because it went from being only one place produces it to literally every place can produce
Yes.
it. Yeah.
So then he gets an emergency signal, and so he kind of cuts the conference early and goes into the lab where they're having a problem. And the problem is basically that one of the lab technicians did not heed the warning of wearing and having absolutely no metals whatsoever on or near them during their experiments. But one dude had a gift from his wife of a watch, and the watch merged with the dude's arm. I expressly, I sent out a memo. It said, don't wear or have metals anywhere near you. It's a gift my wife, I'm sorry. And he's like, well, now it's part of you forever, asshole. Congratulations.
Good job.
So they ferry him into a van and send him to a Roxxon facility to be set by their doctors.
Honey, look, I love you so much. I made it a part of me.
How he's
Why
gotta
would you
spin
do
it.
that?
Because I'm an idiot.
I'm an idiot. You married a moron.
No, I have the
Mortal
memo right
loves
here.
you.
Oh, don't. Oh, jeez.
Well, there it is. And this hurts all the time. So,
But I always know what time it is.
until the battery dies.
So what are we supposed to take from this exchange? That we're supposed to feel bad for the watch guy?
Nah, he's an example. He's a cautionary example.
I see.
So what happens is...
Behold the power of Roxxon?
Yeah, and New Form. So the problem is you can't use New Form near metal. Like any other metal, or it will melt it.
Oh, that's why the chair is melted.
The chair is melted because of the New Form. And so they were shipping out any evidence that there is a flaw with New Form. What they ended up inventing is Antarctic vibranium. Antarctic vibranium is vibranium that landed in Antarctica, and because of the geographic location and the
Poles
the
and-
poles and whatnot, that vibranium does the exact same thing that New Form does, which is melt metal. It's
Okay.
useless.
It also stops bullets, but
right.
you have to melt metal to get that ability. So
Yeah,
it's
well, and
kinda-
it doesn't melt it
kinda monkey's paw.
instantaneously. It's after a certain amount of time, the New Form will destabilize and then cause
Oh. So they could do this test, but then they have to get that new form
out
out
of here.
there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is a massive problem, but Hale is convinced that they'll figure it out. We've got time. I need investors, I need money, I need buyers, and we'll figure out how to make it stabilized eventually.
So we'll sell it to everybody,
Yes.
knowing that it's a ticking time bomb.
Yes.
And someday we'll figure out how to solve that problem where it melts things.
And right now, we're using microwave emitters to stabilize the new form and make it work for a time.
If we hit it with microwaves, it'll keep this from, it'll delay.
Yes.
I see.
And I'm sure the microwaves won't affect anything else around.
They don't, except turning Dearborn back into Centurion.
Yeah, I was gonna say
And
it can't,
slowly cooking
it can't be a coincidence
No.
that he transforms from microwaves.
No.
And they need microwaves to.
Well, it's just very convenient.
Yeah.
Actually. That,
This is an 80s cocaine problem where it's just like, oh, but this thing we have, it's going to be terrible. I don't care how terrible it is as long as I keep making money.
Yeah, that's right.
That's correct,
It's
yes.
80s business, and it's 1991. Meanwhile, Ultron 13 is being transported to the Vault, the supervillain prison in the Colorado Rockies.
Was he recently defeated?
He was in an Avengers West Coast comic,
Oh, okay.
thanks to his partnership with the Grim Reaper, the evil brother of Wonder Man. He was making Terminators. He's like, I'm going to replace humanity with robots, which is what Ultron likes to do sometimes. And so he had a facility where he was making like Terminators, like synthetic humans that were an army for him to battle, and destroy humanity with. He's going to do the exact same thing in this story. That's his plan.
Well, he's the same guy.
Yeah, and he's got the same goal.
It's like, it was a good plan. you
It's
know?
a great plan, and I have unlimited time to enact it.
That's right.
I'm a robot.
Yeah. Plus, I teamed up with like Grim Reaper. My problem was that he had a direct connection with one of my adversaries, the Avengers.
That was a
I won't do
mistake.
that again. And I hate teaming with humans anyway. I will do it twice, but whatever. So Ultron 13's in the story, and you're like, whoa, this book is heating up, and it's not just the new form. So Spider-Man goes to ESU to find out more about that melted chair, and he bumps into Black Panther. And he's like, hey, what are you doing here? And he's like, the Wakandan economy is entirely dependent on vibranium, and if Roxxon has made a competitor to Vibranium, then I gotta fuck them up. Like, it's like, what do you
can't do that.
What the hell? He's not quite there yet.
Right. But he's like, I gotta
Do
something.
Okay, because you're wearing a superhero costume and you're on a college campus.
Yeah.
And you're here only because the economy of your country is under threat by, what, the free market?
By someone inventing a thing?
That's kind of dangerous, don't you think?
Yeah.
Well, you're here, and you're just here because a chair melted.
well,
Touche.
yeah. What are you
I'm-
gonna do about that?
I'm on a fact-finding mission here. Also, I work here.
yeah, I'm on a
I'm a
fact-finding
student
mission
ID.
too. I'm finding out.
Oh, look,
how
I
fucked
see who
we
you are.
Yeah.
I can reveal your identity to everybody.
Yeah.
Mr. Parker.
Okay, fair enough. Thankfully, you don't care about that kind of thing.
So how about you shut up and I shut up?
Okay, let's break into
Okay.
the school. Literally, they're like, we shouldn't break in. I mean, it's a school. It's kind of messed up. But if there's like noise or something, then we can say that we were breaking in because we were responding to an emergency. So they they sneak up to a window and they're just looking in and they see the ghost. And the ghost is
Oh.
just messing things up and
Like, oh
blasting
my God,
people.
there really is something going on in there.
Yep.
Of all the times.
Yeah. So
This is
Ghost.
uncanny.
That's
Yeah.
fortunate.
So Ghost is setting some charges. He's going to blow up the facility.
Oh my God.
He's going to steal the
Oh,
new
that's right. He
form.
said he was gonna mess it up too.
Yeah, because the idea is that Kingpin wants to have this alternate vibranium and also doesn't want Roxxon to have it also.
Right. He wants to
Kingpin,
have a
think of
monopoly
your
on it.
pacemaker.
Ghost plants some explosives. Spider-Man then webs the Ghost. Spider-Man and Ghost have not met before because Ghost is an Iron Man villain. And while Spider-Man is bouncing out of the way of lasers being shot by the Ghost, Black Panther kicks Ghost in the face. And meanwhile, Spider-Man just takes that opportunity while Ghost goes invisible to just collect the bombs. He then webs the bombs and cushions the blast so that they don't blow up the building and instead just cause a harmless poof under his webbing.
His webs can do that?
Yeah, well, if he uses enough of it.
I see.
So
I don't
Spider-Man.
think I've
then-
ever seen him do that before. That's cool.
Oh yeah, no, he's definitely muffled bombs before with his webbing.
Yeah, I guess if you pile on enough webbing, it
Exactly.
just absorbs it.
Well, how
Yeah.
come in the video game then you have to throw bombs away?
Well,
you have to do it like dozens, hundreds of friggin' times.
The video game takes liberties with the concept of Spider-Man. They don't really know, or they're like, it's more realistic if he has to get rid of the bomb.
I guess it's just so funny that that's like a really specific thing you have to do over and over and over again in
Yes.
that game.
Yeah.
And yet there's an answer in the comics that's like way more interesting than
He
that.
does want to throw it. He does go like, I hope it works. Like I just don't have time. So
But he also
muffles it. But
wants-
it does hurt the floor.
But I want the option to muffle it.
Yeah, that's
now
true.
that I know it's a thing.
Yeah.
We have the Ethan update.
Yeah. The Ethan update.
It just makes bombs entirely effortless.
It allows you to make
Yeah.
bombs inert.
We call it the VV update for the Vibranium Vendetta. So Ghost goes invisible, and Spider-Man just uses Spider Sense and punches him in the face.
Nice.
And then
Why did he go intangible?
Right, because he could.
I guess he wanted to punch Spider-Man, so he had to.
He was just like, I'll just go invisible. That usually works. He's never fought Spider-Man before. He doesn't know he has extra sensory perception.
Right. That's
So then
fair.
Spider-Man and Black Panther go, all right, kachoof. They just turn the lights out. They go, let's go get this Ghost motherfucker. Because Black Panther has like
it's like
extra
Ghost can't
senses
see in
as
the
well.
dark.
He should
Yeah.
have like night vision, like Panthers do.
Yeah, he does. As is displayed by this silhouetted Panther behind Black Panther while he goes to attack the Ghost.
Which is almost a badger.
Yeah, and Spider-Man has his Spider Sense. So they go to fight the Ghost, and the Ghost is helpless because he's invisible and he doesn't see them. He can't see Spider-Man and Black Panther descending
He's
upon
like,
him.
oh, this sucks.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Dearborn just goes, what's going on here? And turns the lights on. And they're like, what the fuck?
Come on, man.
Asshole. When Ghost uses his power to like disrupt the computer, it sets off one of the microwave emitters they're using to stabilize the new form. But that errant blast of microwaves is going to hit Black Panther, so Dearborn pushes Black Panther out of the way and gets blasted by them himself, thereby re-becoming the Centurion.
Well,
Which
he
is
should
something
just.
he could always do, right? He can do this on his own.
He could, but he didn't remember being the Centurion because of like reasons that took place in an Iron Man book.
Right. Okay.
And because
So this is a deeply tragic turn.
Oh,
he tried to save Black Panther.
it's not that tragic. He's not like usually.
Well, now he's going to become a bad guy, right? I
Well,
assume.
only because we need him to be for this to have a climactic
I see.
moment. So Dearborn is now Centurion, and he's like, "Oh, you guys are here in Roxxon property, and you are not invited, so you must be bad guys, and I'm gonna murder you." Spider-Man's like, "What?"
So the Centurion's deal is that he is like a defender of Roxxon, no
Yes,
matter what.
he is a superhero specifically for Roxxon. It would be like if McDonald's had a superhero that only protected the integrity and I don't know,
Like value
the
of the
value
brand.
of the brand and its location,
assets,
Yes,
yeah.
and its assets. Like what?
Yeah.
That's right. Me and my friend Big Mac will defend McDonald's.
I mean, more or less, McDonald's does. It's in the form of Ronald McDonald. But
And it's the Grimace.
oh, don't forget the Grimace,
No,
because
we can
nothing
kill him.
can kill him. So Spider-Man's powerless to defeat the Centurion, and Ghost is like, like I did not sign on for this. Meanwhile, Iron Man shows up because he is also investigating like Roxxon and its dealings at Empire State University. So Ghost is like, this part's gotta fly. So he just turns incorporeal and then like leaves. So while Centurion's trying to kill Spider-Man, Black Panther and Iron Man descend upon him. I think Iron Man like blasts Centurion with like a unibeam. He then attacks Iron Man, and then Spider-Man's like, well, I don't have time to think about this, but like the microwave thing turned him into Centurion, so I blast him. He can't be more Centurion, so he blasts Centurion with the microwave emitter.
You don't know that.
Yeah,
He could just get bigger and have more armor on.
That'll be another problem I have to deal with, but for right now, he's killing Iron Man. So then he blasts him and he turns back into Dearborn. And
Whew.
now Dearborn has his memories back and his ability to control his transformation. So
Oh, great.
he's like, oh, I'm sorry I freaked out before. That was just like the sudden shock of being Centurion again that made me evil for a second, or at the very least, aggressive.
Right. Well, you are on Roxxon's
And I'm not
turf.
wrong.
Right.
I mean, I will admit that I was aggressive, but like that's all I'm willing to admit.
Yeah.
The security team shows up late as usual.
Yeah.
And they're like, what's going on here
They missed
anyway?
some
Like, what's
stuff.
up with the microwave? What's up with the ghost? What's up with you being a Centurion? And he's like, I would love to answer those questions, but technically you are trespassing on Roxxon property and you got to get out of here.
Otherwise, you're going to get a visit from the Centurion again.
And I recall spanking your ass before. So they leave and they're like, that was weird.
That was weird.
And Iron Man is like, he's just being a good employee because I'm often doing that too. I can't call him out. It would be hypocritical of me. And if there's one thing Iron Man is not, it's a hypocrite.
Oh,
yeah,
of course
no.
not.
So Dearborn is like looking into like why there were microwave emitters at all in the new form lab.
Right. He's like, okay, now that they're out of here, what the heck is going on here?
Yes, but he is such a stooge that he like looks over the notes and he sees that like there is a issue with the vibranium or the new form. 'Cause it's not technically a vibranium, or if
Right.
it is, it's Antarctic vibranium.
Right.
But he's like, this could cause like untold destruction and problems, but Roxxon must be on top of it because they wouldn't be saying that they're done or mission accomplished
Not
if it
Roxxon.
wasn't. Not Roxxon.
Come on, they're great.
Not this trustworthy person I can't see the eyes of.
I just have to, make sure that everything's cool with Roxxon.
Oh no, he doesn't make sure.
He just trusts
He
that
just
it's
trusts them
fine.
implicitly. He like looks over. He's like, "This is a huge problem." On the other hand, Roxxon is the one who's in charge of it, so I have to assume.
Why'd
the
you even
best.
look into it then?
Right.
Whatever you saw, you
Well,
were just
maybe-
going to say like, oh,
maybe
well, I'm
Roxxon
sure they're on
didn't know
top of
about
it.
Like if I had found the flaw and Roxxon didn't already know about it, then I could alert them of
I
it.
see.
But since they
Yeah,
already
as long
knew-
as I
There's a
find a
file
reference
on
to
it.
it.
Yeah, there's a file right here.
And Big Daddy Roxxon is going to take care of it.
Well, that
That's right.
explains everything.
Exactly. And you're like, I can't see
I hate
why
you.
Arthur Dearborn didn't take off as a character.
Well, he's just like Iron Man. I don't see what the problem is.
Yeah, no.
Ding dong. Hi, have you heard of the good Lord and Savior Roxxon?
Yeah, he is basically a Jehovah's Witness for Roxxon. Spider-Man goes home. Mary Jane's out with her friends or her colleagues from the soap opera, and so we see like this weird moment. Like Spider-Man, Black Panther, and Iron Man are like, we're going to do more research, trade some notes, and we'll meet back here tomorrow to like figure this whole Roxxon problem out. And Spider-Man's like, I don't have any more information about this, so I'm just gonna hang out and watch TV. So he kicks off his boots and he pops a soda can and just falls asleep on the couch.
I'm going to keep thinking about a metal chair, though.
Hey, look, Spider-Man's a Batman fan.
I know. I love the Batman magnet. That blew my mind.
That's fun.
This is one of my first comics I ever owned as a kid,
Oh, you're like,
and I was like, "What?" So Kingpin has had his office completely rewired to protect himself against Ghost and his powers, but it is useless, and Ghost shows up with his powers anyway.
Yeah, what made
to
you
fire
think
the
that you could stop
contractor.
him?
Yeah, well, because my scientists told me that they could, but they
Yeah,
don't know anything
because you
about the
would have
Ghost.
killed them if they said they couldn't.
Well, that's true. And that is a problem with my managerial style. So Kingpin makes fun of the Ghost for basically failing in his mission. And he's like, anyway, I think the idea was originally Kingpin wanted him to, like, destroy the Vibranium, but now I want you to get some and bring it back here and then destroy it.
Oh.
And so he's like, all right, cool, that sounds
So
good.
the thing that's even harder than what I failed at the first time.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So Ghost is going to go do that while Ultron 13 takes control.
Still doing Ultron 13 stuff.
Just typical Ultron
Just-
13, making Terminators.
What does this have to do with anything?
Well, I'll tell you.
We had one panel in the previous book where it's like, oh, Ultron's coming.
Yeah,
it's
and
like,
now he's here.
still coming.
Yeah.
I have one shtick.
Well, Ultron 13 is made of adamantium.
Oh, so it's going to be adamantium versus vibranium.
No.
No?
No, it's going to
No.
be adamantium versus new
Plus
form.
vibranium. Well, yes.
Well, yeah.
But no, Ultron is like, oh my god, my adamantium body, I thought that was like the pinnacle of my evolution.
Right.
But if I could get vibranium and incorporate that into my husk, then I'd be unstoppable.
I see.
So
So it's
I
like,
am,
it's too hard to find and break into Wakanda.
Yes.
But now that it could be everywhere.
it's just at this college.
right.
So if
I'm
I
just going to go get some.
send my Terminators to go get it, and then I'll put it on myself.
Right.
If you have already figured out that this is essentially a problem that would solve itself without the heroes,
yeah, I
then
think
you
I
are
see
way ahead of the
where
kid
this
that read
book is-
this when he was a child.
Okay.
Because I'm like, oh my god, if Wilson Fisk gets new form, he could incorporate it into his building and then it would collapse and he'd die. And if Ultron 13 got new form, he would incorporate it into his husk and he would fall apart and he would die. Let them have it!
Yeah, but they don't know that. Only, what's his name knows it. Only
Centurion and
yeah.
Jonas Hale are aware of
Yep.
these problems. No, but I'm saying, like, why am I rooting for Spider-Man and company?
Right.
They could literally sit back
And just let it happen.
and it would be fine.
It would be better than fine. Because they'd be destroyed. Ultron 13 would die.
There'd be actual comeuppance.
But in the meantime, Roxxon would also like sell this stuff to
Oh,
like
yeah.
consumers whose buildings would collapse.
The problem is we got to stop Roxxon from selling this shit.
Yes.
But the supervillains we're fighting
Yeah.
will be
well,
defeated
there's
themselves.
no tension because they
no-
can't succeed.
No, there is absolutely no tension. Like, it's just like, what?
They might as well be like goofy, like Benny Hill music playing in the background when the villains are like,
Yeah, like Kingpin's like, yes, I'll make a deal with the Ghost and Ultron. Okay.
boom, boom,
idiot.
Yeah.
So Roxxon is moving their facilities off of Empire State University's campus because it can't be trusted. It's just a problem. So they're
It's not
loading it
secure
up.
enough.
And
Spider-Man keeps breaking in.
Yeah, it's a problem. And so you see like Chip and Ethan, and they're like high-fiving each other and laughing at like the research scientists that they work with in the building because now suddenly maybe the higher-ups at ESU will give a shit about botany.
Right.
Which of course they won't.
Yeah, because Roxxon's
No.
moving out.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's just, it's going to be more expensive to work with them. because they're not on site anymore.
Yeah,
That also means
You have
that
to transport
you're probably
samples back and
losing
forth and
funding
stuff.
to the college.
that's right.
Well, yeah,
Because Roxxon's pulling out.
That's right.
yeah. If they decide
Guess
they
what?
don't
We're
want to work
cutting
with you
all
at all.
programs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great. And we're gonna cut back on the least essential, starting with you, Chip.
Yeah.
and your super potato.
The excess left over for the Roxxon money was funding your biology research.
Yeah,
so.
we're operating at a deficit now.
Well, now I have to raise tuition costs.
Oh.
Yeah.
And attendance is going to decrease, so it's a real problem.
Yeah, your glee at other people's expense really was worth it.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway,
if we got rid of those
Chip,
corporate chills.
why don't you become homeless and the Carnage can eat you?
Yeah, he doesn't become homeless. Carnage goes to ESU and murders him there. Meanwhile, Roxxon is going to leave stores of their new form in like the basement of ESU. Like they're just going to store it there for now until they can move it to a safer location.
They're gonna leave and come back later.
Yeah.
To keep it safe.
Well, they're already like they're stripping down like labs and huge equipments and microwave emitters and whatnot. Fortunately, ESU already has a microwave emitter. Chip and Ethan are using it, on their plant project.
They're microwaving their plants?
Yeah, they're using microwave emitters to like science their plants into becoming bigger. Or more
super
productive.
potato.
Yeah.
Right. They're zapping them with radiation to make them
Yeah, that's
better.
right. That's right.
Cool.
Look, if it can work for the mutants.
Yeah, no, it would cook them.
Yes, it would. Well, this is different from like your usual microwave.
I mean, it could be. Microwaves, I think, cover enough. No, those microwaves coming out of your microwave, they don't cook you because you're not in it.
That's right.
There's not very many of them.
No. So Spider-Man and Black Panther and Iron Man all descend on the Roxxon Corporation, or at the very least, Spider-Man and Black Panther do, because Iron Man was late to their meeting.
Okay.
And while they're there,
Plus, you'd have kind of a problem with that. I don't know if we should break into their corporation. That's private property.
I'm going to contact my boss, Tony Stark, and make sure he's okay with this.
Yeah.
Oh, he says no.
He says he wouldn't like it very much if someone broke into his company. So.
oh, there's like a lot of like really shady dealings that happen at the end, where it's just happening in broad daylight, and I'm like, Iron Man, what was that move all about? Like just.
I'm a shady guy. That's
what
my
it was?
character.
He was just very comfortable being an Avenger, where he's like, I just operate with impunity.
Right.
Like you'll see later.
I'm an Avenger.
You can't stop me.
So
I'm in
I'm
Iron
kind of in
suit.
charge here.
they don't even know who I am. You don't even know my real name. So, Spider-Man and Black Panther at Roxxon, but now there's a squad of soldiers who are attacking Spider-Man and Black Panther, who may create an obstacle between them and their ability to obtain new form from Roxxon. Meanwhile, Ghost goes to Empire State University to go to the stores of Vibranium, or new form, in the basement and steal some. And who does he run into but Ultron?
Oh.
Because Ultron found out
Oh
about
boy,
it.
now we get a villain fight.
Yeah, kinda. So Ultron and Ghost engage each other while Spider-Man and Black Panther fight these soldiers sent by Ultron. And a couple of times in this book, the heroes behave so negligently that a character will fire a gun at another character and blow their head off and reveal that they're robots so that they can tear them apart. But if
You
they
didn't
weren't
know that, but
robots,
But you didn't know they were robots. So that guy would have just died.
like the image of this dude getting his head blown off by this guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes that happens.
Yes.
We don't show it, Comics Code and all, but,
like, this
between the
happens
pages,
a
when
lot.
Spider-Man's fighting people, villains accidentally kill each other in the
Feels like it
crossfire.
happens a lot. There's a moment where like they're fighting these robots and they're like, oh my god, they're robots. Let's kill these bitches. Like they just unleash on an
someone's like,
army of people.
Finally.
Kill it. It was never alive to begin with.
Let's
You
do
can't
it.
kill what's never born.
like,
That's so funny.
There's a moment where Black Panther.
I'm just holding back all the time, and I'm sick of it. I'm just gonna unleash on these friggin' robots.
I will admit that only Black Panther really says that, and he's the only one who also steals one of their assault weapons and uses it against them. Like the image
Nice.
of Black Panther just going, just filling them with lead. I'm like, it's a little less heroic than I would have imagined.
It's like I'm a soldier.
right? Like, but for the Wakandan army.
Yeah, army.
I guess that's true.
They use Wakandan guns and stuff, right?
I don't think so.
Lasers or something.
Yeah, it's like made of vibranium.
Yeah, no, they use like, yeah, it's different. It's not. They ain't using AR-15s.
They're not. Yeah, they're
It's
not
advanced.
guns. They're
Yes.
not guns.
No.
They're something else.
So
Can you imagine a vibranium bullet?
Oh my God, what a nightmare.
It would be super destructive.
Yeah, it'd be unstoppable. The problem is you wouldn't want to invent it because maybe it would never stop. It would go through you and just bounce off everything. So
I mean, inertia will eventually.
I mean,
die out.
gravity will pull it into
but
the
it's
ground.
vibranium. it's generating its own vibrational frequency. And it's bouncing
What
off
happens
whatever
if
it
you
does.
fire it and it goes into the ground? Does it just keep going through the earth?
Yeah.
Just keep circling the
Kills
earth
poor guy in
underground?
Australia? I don't know. So Dearborn orders like hard drives full of data about New Form off-site and to a more secure location. So they're loading that into a helicopter.
A big helicopter.
And Iron Man's like, hey, I need to know more about this. Why don't you ground your helicopter? Or I'm going to take the helicopter down. And so Dearborn orders that they fire on Iron Man, and then the missile is taken down by Iron Man, so then Dearborn turns into Centurion and fights Iron Man. Ghost and Ultron fight. This is where, like, Ultron realizes that Ghost can turn invisible, so then he destroys, like, a sprinkler system, and then it descends on him, and so he's like, oh, I can see you now. And he, like, punches Ghost through a wall, a brick wall. And I'm like, oh, you killed Ghost.
He's just a guy.
And
Well,
he's
maybe
just
his suit gives him some protection
I
against
mean,
brick walls.
one would have to assume because he's not dead.
Right.
But Ghost is like, I didn't sign up for fighting Ultron. That's an Avengers threat.
Yep.
I gotta go.
It is.
I'll just explain to Mr. Fisk that Ultron's involved and I want to deal with that.
If
Oh,
a
yeah.
Terminator...
Oh, he's going to kill you.
Well, what he does is he's like, I'm gonna give him his deposit back.
I see.
And he can't kill me because
Right, I'll
the
just turn invisible.
Ghost.
Yeah. That's fine.
So Ultron is stymied as well because, like, people discover him, and so then he jumps in the hole he made, and that's the end of that story. So then Spider-Man and Black Panther see that Centurion and Iron Man are fighting in the sky and realize there's nothing they can do about it. Dearborn ends up accidentally, like, flashing Iron Man with a big blast of energy, which also hits the helicopter, and so Iron Man has to stop the helicopter from crashing, saving the helicopter pilot, and Dearborn then turns into Centurion. He's like, hey there, Ace, I'm sorry I almost killed you.
Oh, that was really irresponsible of me.
Yeah.
Anyway, all hail Roxxon.
While Dearborn is apologizing to the pilot,
Right.
Iron Man just uplinks into the hard drive. He's like, I'm just going to take some data.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Please don't report me to superiors.
Yes, I don't want to get fired. I live for Roxxon. But, like, I love Iron Man just going like, yeah, hang on a minute. I'm just going to start. Like, you work on the record for a rival company.
Yep. And now I'm stealing this data.
And now I'm just downloading your
Friggin'
shit.
Ghost thinks he has to break in,
Right?
sneak around and stuff.
Just be a hero and just wander in and take their shit.
Yeah, they'll let you do whatever if they think you're a hero.
If you have an Avengers ID card, you can do whatever the hell you want. And Dearborn's like, what the fuck are you doing? And he unplugs it from Iron Man.
Oh.
See, impunity.
Yeah. And Iron Man's like,
I already got what I needed.
he didn't get everything, but he got enough. But he's like,
That's probably enough.
he goes, you're gonna let us go without, like, filing any charges, because the last thing you want is a trial that will cause this information to be part of the case. And Dearborn's like, just get out of here. Just go away, you jerks.
That sounds plausible.
Right?
Okay.
I don't know enough about it.
You win this round.
So while that happens, like Ultron 13, he's got an adamantium body. For reference, within the same time, Doc Ock gets adamantium arms, and he is basically unstoppable.
Right.
Yeah.
He's a fleshy, fat guy
Yeah.
with 4 mechanical arms. He beat the Hulk with them. Ultron is a super intelligent robot, man, whose whole body
It's
is made of adamantium, and he's hiding in the bushes because the police have arrived. And he is like, oh no.
Well, they threatened to call the Avengers.
And he was like, I already fought them and almost died, so, like, I don't want to
they're
do
like,
that again.
oh no, should we call the Avengers? And he's like, I better get out of here.
I can't fight the Avengers again.
like-
I gotta get out of here.
Why wouldn't you just call the Avengers anyway? Oh, he disappeared. Never mind. Don't call him.
You know, because it's a Spider-Man book, and because they would never show up. The Avengers
Hey.
only show up at the end of Maximum Carnage, and nobody else.
Hey, we heard Ultron's out here. So, like, if you don't want us to call the Avengers, you better stop.
You
Clink,
better
clink,
go
clink,
away.
clink, clink. Just him, like, running away. But,
You better leave the building completely. I better not find you hiding around a corner or anything. Or
Right, front.
I will call them. I swear to God, I'll call them.
So Kingpin sends Pembroke, one of his, like, people, to go broker a deal with Ultron.
Is this a guy? Are we familiar with Pembroke?
Yeah, Pembroke's a guy.
Oh, okay.
He's just, and Pembroke's whole story is just that he is a liaison for the Kingpin. He's a
Yeah.
gopher.
Got it.
So
And he's apparently not worried about.
he's seemingly
Talking to
not
Ultron
afraid
13.
of dealing with Ultron. Or it's like this.
It's like, well, we're all bad guys.
I may die.
Right.
But Mr. Fisk required that I broker a deal with the adamantium robot man.
And why would Ultron make a deal with Fisk?
Right. He
Well,
even
because
says
he's so
to
scared of
himself-
the Avengers. If Fisk can take care of those Avengers and keep them from stopping me.
Well, he's like, yes. Well, I was reminded of my recent defeat by the Avengers, but that's why I desperately need to merge my adamantium with the synthetic vibranium.
Well, you see, Mr. Ultron 13, if I can call you that.
You may.
Mr. Fisk will have a way to get you that new form.
Literally, the Ghost reported to us your whereabouts and your goal. You want artificial vibranium, while my employer merely wants the secrets of its commercial potential. You failed, our man failed, but together we might both fail miserably. Like, are you
with
kidding
our
me?
powers combined.
We could be completely
You
ineffectual.
know what we should do? We should team up.
Yes. Ghost, Ultron, Kingpin, fuck yeah! Now it's a comic book. So Ultron's like, I hate working with humans, but also I can't stop doing that, so I
Right.
guess I will. Meanwhile, Chip and Ethan are bombarding these plants with microwaves, which are only advancing the degradation of the new form.
Yep.
And so in the basement, we get like a Raiders of the Lost Ark moment where it's like, here's the crates, the nails
ticking
are
time bomb.
melting.
Oh,
Like it's
boy.
all coming apart. Now the new form is fine, but every metal around it, including
Right.
like the support beams to the school and the ground beneath it, are completely melting, and it's causing untold havoc behind the scenes.
Yay. Dun, dun, dun.
Let's get past all this shit.
These are annuals. They have all kinds of backups and stories. There are also ongoing stories behind the scenes. Most of them don't feature Spider-Man. You know, like you can have a cool team up between Will-O-the-Wisp and Sandman and Rocket Racer, or you could also have a whole Rocket Racer story where he fights Speed Demon, or you could read a story about Spider-Man fighting the Rhino, and Rhino is only saying the word money the entire time. And that's kind of fun, isn't it?
Money, 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 money.
That's literally what he does. Like he just screams or yells or repeats to himself the money that he wants to steal from a bank. That's
To
it.
show you how dumb he is.
Yes.
He's a dumb bruiser.
Yeah.
Get
Eventually,
it?
he just gets taken out by a subway car.
Sweet. That's fun.
Yeah. Haha. So
So he's dead, right?
no, he's
Oh.
really tough.
I see.
So now we go back to Kingpin's office, where twice now a supervillain has broken into it against his wishes. This time, Ultron shows up wearing like regular people clothes and a hat and a coat. And when he enters into Kingpin's room, he then burns it all off of him because he hates pretending to be a human. Never mind the fact that he literally just did to do this. So he's like, haha. Like, it's basically just a massively dramatic entrance. And then
Right.
Kingpin makes fun of him for making one.
Fun.
So Kingpin clicks a suspicious button, which won't pay off until the last page of this story. And basically he's like, okay, so you, he just reiterates what happened, you know? You want more vibranium
Right.
to get into your adamantium body and
I
be
had to bring
unstoppable.
people up to speed if they didn't read the previous
Every
issue.
comic is somebody's first. I understand that there's vibranium stores at Empire State University. Do the thing that Ghost failed to do. Just get me a piece
Just
of
get
it.
them.
Get some. Like a handful.
But he was just there, and he ran away
yeah.
because some guards saw him.
He had a different plan. I need you to get some and bring it here. Not
Yeah,
like
but
steal-
Ultron was there.
I know.
Ultron himself was there, and he ran away.
I know.
As did Ghost. They
know.
both ran away.
It's frustrating
How's
as
he
hell.
gonna do better this time?
Right? Well, because it's Ultron. I mean, look, this is a pretty serious team up. So
I
meanwhile,
guess you could argue Ghost. He didn't know Ghost because it screwed him up.
Yeah, no. It threw him off
This
his
time
game.
Ghost won't be there, and it'll go fine.
Sure. So at Stark Industries, Iron Man is uploading the data he stole from
Yeah.
Roxxon's computers, and they got a little bit of information, but not enough. Basically, they're like, okay, we got like the chemical composition of new form. So if I
Oh,
analyze,
that
we
sounds
go,
pretty good. That sounds like
It is, but-
most of what you need.
But all I really need is the file that says that it's unstable and that it
Well,
will cause
yeah,
this
I don't
problem.
have
But
that,
like,
yeah.
I don't have that. I have like the chemical composition of this thing. I gotta like take it apart and look at it.
I can't do empirical testing. That would take forever.
I have to
Yeah.
science it.
Yeah. So Black Panther is like, there's no time for that. What if it destabilizes my economy?
Or my metal.
That's really not what we're here for. What? What
So-
would you like me to do?
Here's what I want to do. I think we should go to Roxxon, tell them we know all their secrets, and that they better just stop making it. And they're like, that is a horrible idea.
And we don't know all their secrets.
No, we have to bluff them.
that's like a bad guy thing.
Yeah.
It's like extortion.
Yeah, it is. It's complete extortion.
We can't do that,
That's
man.
right. Yeah.
It's not a lie when a good guy
Also,
says it.
like, I don't know that maybe Wakanda should have a monopoly on
Right?
vibranium. Like, maybe it's okay for Roxxon.
Well, I mean, like, one is the king of a small African nation, and the other one is an industrialist from America. So, like, they're going to have ideological problems with each other. So they're going to, like, meet later to talk about this.
Yeah, we'll settle this later.
Yeah, let's meet at Empire State University and figure this out. So Spider-Man's walking around as Peter Parker, and he's like, I was supposed to meet Black Panther, but he's not here, and I don't, like, see him anywhere. Oh, my God. So he bumps into Chip and Ethan again, and they're like, oh, we're bombarding these
We
planet
found a way to make
microwaves.
the microwaves 10,000 times stronger.
Yeah. And they're like, what do you think, Peter? And he's like, I don't know anything about your field. I'm not a bot.
I don't really care.
And I
about
don't
your
care
stupid
anyway.
plans.
But that's
We're not
when,
like friends.
The microwaves seem to be working. Because,
Yeah, the
like,
plans seem to be getting more prominent.
Yeah, and
In these panels.
yeah, Chip is explaining to Ethan, like, those cells were 13 techometers long before the treatment, and now they're 15. And he's like, no, you read the 3 as a 5.
So they.
These are
plants
just
are clearly
fast-growing
getting
plants.
bigger, and one of them's like, I measured it, they're getting big. Ah, you must be wrong.
Right.
There's no way.
There's no way. So
There's no way
Spider-Man-
we're making Audrey 2 here.
So they're like arguing with each other, and Pete's looking out the window, and he's like, "What? Where is Black Panther? Did he just do that stupid idea that he suggested to all of us?" So meanwhile, Roxxon, T'Challa's doing the thing he said he was going to do. He's talking to Jonas Hale. He's like, "So here's the deal. We know that your vibranium is a problem, and we think you should stop doing it." And Hale's like, "No, you don't."
Oh yeah, it's a problem.
Right, he
What
said-
problem would that be?
He literally says,
Why don't you explain it to me?
there's something unsavory about your process, and I suggest you halt production immediately. And he's like, you're blowing smoke, you don't know anything. And this is such like a weirdly aggressive move by T'Challa. He goes, I was hoping you'd see reason. So be it. Like, I am no longer in control of myself. Now I must murder you. Don't you understand? My country's economy
right.
is
at stake.
dependent
Yeah.
on your failure or success.
Right.
And
I'll
so,
do whatever it takes
yes,
to ruin you.
as a superhero, an avenger, and a king of my country,
I will murder you.
I will straight up murder you. I will break every law,
Yeah.
every international norm.
I'm just shocked he doesn't do it right here.
I'm like the
hear me?
CIA of
I will
Wakanda.
end you.
Yeah, yeah. So he leaves, and Jonas is like, unless he isn't full of shit, send some goons to kill him. Like, T'Challa walks like 10 paces out the door, and then some goons show up. It's like, Roxxon is just like, yeah, no, we are just nakedly corrupt.
Yeah, we're just evil.
It's like, no, you're just 32 years too early. So he beats the shit out of most of them, and then
Yeah.
Spider-Man shows up. He's like, you're late to our meeting, and instead you're doing the stupid thing. I see it went well. So then they leave back to the university.
That's great.
And Iron Man goes to meet with Dearborn at Empire State. Meanwhile, a huge amount of trucks full of army guys show up to like create a perimeter around the school and protect the vibranium because of all like the problems they've been having. Ultrons and ghosts and stuff, and Spider-Man and Iron Man and Black Panthers. Like, we need a perimeter set up. But Dearborn doesn't know anything about it because, of course, it was facilitated by the Kingpin, and these are all fake robot soldiers by Ultron.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they're thinking. They're thinking now.
Did they show any ID?
No,
or
they didn't have
just
to.
bluff
Look, we
their
got
way
trucks.
past Iron Man and Dearborn?
See, these guys, they do not play poker with the Kingpin, or you will lose. At least if your name is T'Challa, because your poker face sucks. So, meanwhile, a couple of like,
He's like, this was always the plan. The plan was always bluff, have you call it, I murder you.
and then I murder you. Yeah, and making the world no poorer, one man dies. So the old security team that is being relieved by the robots are in the basement where they're like, loading up all the fake vibranium, and like, their shit is melting.
Oops.
It's a real problem.
I have to point out here, before that happens, Iron Man almost kills someone, or would have killed one of these guards by accident, except, fortunately it's a robot.
Yes.
He knocks someone into the energy shield.
Well, one of the robot guys shoots at Iron Man, and then he blasts him with a repulsor beam, which knocks that guy into the like digital electronic perimeter shield that was put up around the school, and he's vaporized. Fortunately, he's a robot, so it's okay. Now, that being said, that kind of thing happens to Iron Man a lot.
Right. He almost kills people almost all the time.
Yeah. In fact, if you think that this Smilin' Stan Lee would-be character Jonas Hale looks familiar, it's because in Demon in a Bottle, Jonas Hale rears his ugly head there too. And he is responsible for blowing up an island that Namor was on with this old fisherman guy. There was this like weird subplot in Demon in a Bottle where like there's this old homeless fisherman guy who lives on an island and Namor's cool with him and he blows up and it's because of Jonas Hale. And I was like, oh yeah! So we got a little bit of closure on Jonas Hale, or at least it continues.
I love how none of this matters.
Right?
They're fighting for no reason.
For nothing.
It's great.
Right?
So great dramatic irony.
I know. Michelini's just having fun.
Yeah.
It's like, I didn't plan on having to do the A story in 3 Spider-Man annuals this week. So Iron Man can't get through the perimeter, like S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right.
But Dearborn can, because he can also like teleport and stuff.
Oh.
So he does, and he ends up there as Ultron is arriving in his like digging machine. I love this freaking machine. It looks like a giant bug. Like this looks like the kind of thing the Blue Beetle would drive around.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
I love it. It's just something that Ultron's using to
It's just a
dig
cool
in.
toy.
It's a cool toy. Not on sale now from Toy Biz.
Yeah, so it blasts out from the ground.
Yeah, blast out from the ground. He's
Yeah.
going to steal the
It's like,
vibranium.
aha, you never put a bubble around the whole place.
That's right. But also, Ultron's the reason the bubble's there in the first place.
Yeah, that's part of the plan.
So Ultron is going to steal the vibranium, but he didn't count on the Centurion.
He hears that, he's like, the what?
The what? That's stupid as hell. Are you invented for the story? No, man. I was in a 2-part Iron Man event.
I'm the defender of Roxxon. Okay.
So stupid. That's lame as hell.
And I'm Ultron 13. There were 12 others of me.
Yeah.
And you're more lame.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you get worse each time.
How dare you?
The apple has fallen quite far from the tree.
It's true.
Ultron.
So Centurion like breaks his machine.
Oh, nice.
Ultron's digger gets like 1 page. And so Ultron's like, okay, I can only leave with what I can carry, so I'll grab a box of new form, and Kingpin can just like get his own sample or whatever. So he leaves. He just jumps into a hole.
Okay. Yeah.
And
So he's
Centurion,
effective.
right? Yes. Well, he's like smart. Centurion notices that like the cases that hold the new form are falling apart because all the steel brackets and stuff are melted. He's like, oh no! So now Dearborn is across the finish line. So he arrives, and they figure out like that Kingpin pulled the political strings to get like army clearance for this fake army at the school, and they do
Right.
that from just guessing. They're like,
Right.
only Kingpin could have these kind of resources.
I love that school approves like a deployment of military, what they think are military soldiers,
Yeah.
but are actually robots. But like, full stop, they would just be like, no.
No, get the fuck
What?
out of here. You don't have any clearance.
You could
to
have
do
like
that.
2 security guards.
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
Right?
If they pass our background check.
Right. Which they wouldn't because
Which will
they don't
take
exist.
like 2 weeks.
One
so-
person flashes a quick badge.
And that's all it is.
That's all I need.
That's all it takes.
Can I see that again?
Nope.
Yeah.
You saw it. I needed to see it for like a second.
I need to scan it.
Yep.
So Dearborn explains to the heroes of this story what new form does. It's like, actually, I read a file, and it says, and this is what
Oh,
it
yeah,
does.
by the way.
And but like, listen, but Roxxon's been stabilizing it with microwaves, but it's decaying anyway. And so Spider-Man's like, oh, it's chipping that idiot's stupid microwave thing upstairs. Like, it's been blasting it all day or all week.
Right.
So it's been causing like massive problems. It's been causing it to decay more rapidly. Like it's been
Right.
advancing its flaw.
I see. They're using the wrong microwaves.
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, no, it's like if you use microwaves to stabilize it, that's great. But if you just leave it on, it's just going to exploit the flaw
Oh.
and makes it more unstable.
Sure.
So Iron Man and Centurion dig through the ground to get to the new form, while Spider-Man and Black Panther murder an entire army of robots.
Nice.
Oh, look, they're robots. Thank God. I ripped this guy's face off his skin
This
off his
guy's
face.
face is off.
That's awesome.
Now-
How did that happen?
Right?
Why is that a move
Well, remember,
in your
they
arsenal?
know they're robots, so it's okay to
Right.
kill them.
Remember, Spider-Man just grabs the guy's face,
Oh, right.
uses his powers to stick his flesh to it, and then rips it off.
Yeah.
He goes, oh, it's a robot.
Oh, cool. That's a move. That is a real move. That's a move that Peter and Kane have both done.
Yep.
It's horrific.
It's awesome. So I've always wanted to do that.
Yeah.
I just want to see if I could peel the face off something. Oh, I can. Sweet.
Oh, also, Centurion doesn't know who Ultron is, so he refers to Ultron 13 as a metal man that was downstairs. Like, Iron
How
Man's
does anyone on Earth not know who Ultron is?
I don't know. Especially if there's been 13,
Surely some of them made the news.
at least, right? Maybe the first one. So, I love it because it's like, oh, we may
Some
have to deal
kind
with
of
like some metal guy down there.
man.
And Iron Man's like, oh, you mean Avengers level threat Ultron 13? Took the whole West Coast Avengers to beat him, and it's just me and Junior Me.
Great.
So,
What's he doing? Screwing around in the basement with you. He should be
Yeah.
you know, causing real mayhem.
yeah, but he's got a cool big gun that he fires at them.
Okay. That's a big gun.
Yeah.
What?
Oh,
Isn't he like super fast and stuff? Like, why
nah,
isn't
nah,
he
he's just a big robot.
Oh, okay.
Like he's as fast as a man, maybe
Okay.
even faster because like of his circuits and stuff.
okay.
Yeah, he's got like servos.
He's
But
got-
like,
he's got faster servos.
without his technology, like Spider-Man could punch him.
Daredevil has beaten Ultron.
I don't understand.
I know.
He's made of adamantium.
Yeah, sometimes. Not every Ultron.
Well, this one's made of
Ultron
one
adamantium.
is.
This one
Yes.
should be almost unstoppable.
he is almost unstoppable.
I
Which
see.
is why it took the entire Avengers to
That's
defeat
right.
him.
And
Right.
this time it's going to take all the Centurion to beat him. So Spider-Man and Black Panther beat the robots, go into the school, go up to the botany thing, and they're like, "Turn it off!" But it's also too late. Like it's already, it's already destabilized the new form.
I was
Right.
gonna say what? The microwave has reached peak energy output,
Yeah.
and now
They're
it's like
like,
found in a
"What?"
loop.
Yeah. So while that happens, a TA calls Spider-Man. They're like, "Hey, there's a phone call for you." And Spider-Man's like, "What?" And he picks it up, and it's Kingpin. And he's like, "Hey, listen."
How did you know to reach me at this number?
Yeah, right. Well, because I knew that this is where you would be because I sent these robots and stuff. Listen, I pushed a button earlier in the book, and that button got me info about Ultron that I need you to give to Iron Man so that Iron Man can beat Ultron. Because I kind of felt like this whole deal was going to go crabbed. Like the second Ultron became a thing, I was like, this is not going to work for me.
Right. I can't really work with Ultron.
No, this is a stupid idea. I don't know why we even started in the first place.
He doesn't trust humans.
Right. He says
I'm a
it.
human.
That's me. His plan, the reason he wants the new form, is to kill all humans.
Right. So it's kind of a problem actually if he succeeds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But
what makes him change
Ultron
his mind?
escaped with
Or
the
was
new
his plan
form.
the whole time to double cross Ultron?
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But Ultron escaped with the new form. Why would Kingpin suddenly be like, oh,
Well,
it didn't work?
Because he didn't take enough. Remember, Ultron took new form for himself.
Right.
And
that's
then
right.
mused to himself about how Kingpin's going to have to
Kingpin's
get his
on
own
his
supply.
Yeah. He
Kingpin's
double
like,
crossed
"Ooh,
Kingpin.
You son of a bitch.
Right.
Well, here's your weakness.
And that is?
Oh, it's just like a frequency that Centurion just blasts at Ultron later.
I thought he grabbed the box
Because
and
like,
was
the
like,
whole room was like wired for data and stuff.
Okay.
No, all he needed to do was let Ultron get away with it.
okay.
But he didn't. Because he was defeated
Right,
by
we still have to
Centurion
stop him.
instead. So, Iron Man fights him, and then Spider-Man calls Iron Man on his phone in the helmet, tells him about the frequency, and then that is to say Iron Man, transmits it to Ultron, and then allows Ultron to be defeated by Centurion. Because the idea is that there's a frequency that turns off Ultron's ability to self-heal. Ultron has a self-healing ability where he can self-repair.
I see. So they don't just outright defeat him. This is a way to weaken him.
So that Centurion can blast him.
I see.
Got it.
And then they take his box of new form and they leave. And Ultron's like, "Oh, I'll get you next time."
But that was mine.
Do they pants him too?
Right? So then they take the box, they dump it with the rest of the new form that is collapsing the building. And they're like, okay, so the problem is now it is just going to start it's going to spread and it's going to cause untold destruction throughout the city. It could even make the city melt.
Oh, it's a pretty severe radius then.
Oh, yes. Well, there's so much of it. you see.
It amplifies the more
Yeah.
of it there is.
They're like, there's no way we can contain the melting, and if we don't stop it, it'll spread through Manhattan, destroying bridges and hospitals and whatnot. Hundreds of thousands will die.
Yikes.
And like, but we can't blow it up because that would scatter it and cause even more untold mayhem.
Yeah.
And they're like, I know, we'll dump it in the center of the Earth.
We have a liquid metal core!
Yeah, the core's already melted.
Yeah,
New form melts things. You can't melt what's already melted.
that's what Black Panther
You
says.
don't know what it's gonna do!
That is true. You don't know
You do not know.
what it's going to do.
Well, we don't have time because the book's almost over, so like
Yeah.
we're gonna do that. So Iron Man's like, well, Centurion, you have like the power of the sun. Blast a hole to the center of the Earth and dump it in there. And he's like, I can't.
It's against my protocol.
It's technically Roxxon property. I'm not allowed to break it.
Oh my god, are you RoboCop?
I'm not asking you to break it. I'm asking you to dig a hole to the center of the Earth.
I'll break it.
push it in.
I can't authorize that because that means that I am willingly a participant of your wanton destruction of company property. You piece
Just
of
say
shit.
you didn't know what I was going to do. I just asked you to dig a hole.
And I'm like, why did you do that? Iron Man does it then. Iron Man's like, okay, Q, so that he just cuts a swath from there to,
Then why'd you even ask for help?
right? Well, because like it would be easier if Centurion did it.
Right, it's going to take a lot of power.
I was gonna have Centurion dig the hole, and then when he was almost finished, I was gonna push all the new form on top of him
Yes.
and collapse
just
him
take care of
all
that
into
problem.
the
Such a
center of the
knob.
earth.
I mean, I'm okay with that plan. So Iron Man digs a hole, he allows the new form to fall into it, and then he collapses the hole on top of it, and he's like, woohoo!
I guess that's more he digs a hole deep enough where like
There's a
there
molten
is
river
no
that it-
metal.
Yeah. So, you know,
Sure.
so everyone, you know, police show up. They have questions.
Yeah, I would have many questions.
Black Panther's like, and
You're all
now-
under arrest.
Literally, Black Panther says, with the assurance that our economy is no longer at risk. I'm like, shut up. You can imagine why I wasn't the world's biggest Black Panther
Yeah,
fan.
right?
That's my first
Boy, I
introduction to
sure
him was-
saved the day.
No, you didn't. You actually almost failed. You almost screwed up for the rest of us with your poker face.
You made Spider-Man look like a dweeb.
So Hale goes to Dearborn and he's like, you'll be happy to know that we've uncovered a rogue cell of corporate malcontents who withheld data about the Vibranium process.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, oh, I knew there was another explanation for this.
Oh my god.
And Iron Man's like,
Yep. Rogue cell of corporate malcontents. That's what he
Spider-Man's
calls
like,
it.
well, that's the end of that.
Spider-Man's just like, oh god, I hate these.
I hate these
Annuals.
team-ups. These annuals are bullshit.
We
And
didn't fix anything.
no.
I guess they saved the city technically
Yes.
from Roxxon's problem. That's yeah. You were there at the end when someone needed to get rid of the bad stuff.
Yes. Now here's what annuals do. Like this is the
What
real
do they
reason.
do?
This is the real reason to have annuals, and it's not for stories like the Vibranium Vendetta. Although that is like the A plot. Like you see some Michelini art, and you got Iron Man and Black Panther on a Spider-Man cover. You're like, whoa,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Team ups are in. So they have it. Spider-Man, the Vibranium Vendetta. Barely a Spider-Man story, and again, no Vendetta, and
None
no
whatsoever.
Vibranium either. It's new
no,
form.
it's not a vendetta. You could argue maybe the Black Panther stuff is the
He
vendetta.
seems to have a vendetta.
He kind of does. Like the fact that they're even trying to do
But
this.
it didn't screw over his country.
They were
Then he would
trying
have
to,
a
but it
It
vendetta.
might have. It might
Yeah,
have.
it
And I
could
gotta.
have.
He shows
They were
up.
willing to screw over our country.
Yeah,
No, he creates a vendetta with Roxxon
Yes.
because of that.
Now, and look, I sympathize with him,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like a little aggressive.
Yeah. No, and nobody else should. Unless you're from Wakanda,
Yeah.
their interests are not anyone else's.
That's also true. So we'll see you guys next week with another episode. I'm Sal.
Ethan.
I'm Ben.
Keep reading. Marvel has had like a policy, like an unofficial policy, that I think is a holdover from the bankruptcy era, where they were like, I don't want stock.
Right. Lying
We
around.
can't have like
Yeah.
a warehouse full of unsold books,
Right.
waiting to fulfill orders that might come in.
Right. You never know when everyone's just going to stop buying this product.
But we do know when they stop buying it, or at least when they sell out of it.
Yeah.
And at the very least, you could make that available.
What they could do now is just let you put it in order.
Yes.
And then say like, look, we're not going to sell it to you yet. Maybe we'll pre-sell it. Maybe
Yeah.
you can put a deposit or something. And then when we get like 100 orders,
We send you a copy.
we'll print them up and then we'll send them to you.
I think that is the future of the monthly comic book. I think that comics will inevitably be at a point where it is unsustainable to the corporate overlords that own them, and then we're talking only about Big Two comics here. And they will go to a full digital mode, despite the fact that print comics outsell digital like 10 to 1. Like digital is not a viable or competitive arm of the comic publishing
People
world.
want to have the.
Well, especially when
People
the
want the
format
physical copy.
changes.
Yeah.
If it's CBR, if it's PDF, it's some other file.
CLZ.
format
yeah, a
LZ
book is a
come
book.
out.
I know what I'm getting.
Exactly. And
And I
it's a
trust
collectible. Technically, it's
Yeah.
worth. I paid money with the Comixology debacle. It's like, do I own this? You
Right.
straight up don't. You never did.
Right.
But you did pay money to have it for a time.
Yeah.
In this case, I believe that like one day they will not find printing comics to be a venture they want to invest in. And so comics will be made to order. Like comics are on sale on Wednesday. They are available through the like website. You can download them, do whatever you want with them. And if you want a physical copy, you have to pay twice, like or double, and that we will print one for you. Like we will do a print for you, like a la carte.
Right. Yeah, because you're one of those weirdos who likes to have physical stuff, I guess.
Yes.
But there's so few of you
That, like,
it's
it's-
got to be expensive and special order each time.
Yes. The comics will be a boutique item.
Great. So they're going to murder comic books.
Yeah.
Because
Well, if
once
they
that
did do
happens,
that,
it's
that
going to
would
get
be
too
a problem.
expensive to do that.
But the way I see it,
Probably
as
a
far
few
as
books will
they're
still be
concerned,
published, right?
comics are already dead.
Right.
Like,
it's
not
over.
that they're killing it; it's that they had already
Well,
decided that they were
Are
dead.
you losing money every year? Like I don't understand.
I mean,
Is it? Are they in debt?
no. I mean, like, well, Warner Brothers is, but not because of DC.
Right.
You know?
Right. Like, what's the bottom line on comics? Like, do they break even? Do
I-
they?
I
Does it go up and down?
I
Like,
can't speak to the
probably
numbers
nobody
for
knows.
Marvel and DC because they do keep those end to end closed.
Yeah.
But I can speak to self-publishing, and I can tell you that like the ratio from like payment of how much it costs to print a finished comic book and a competitive cover price is the difference of less than $1. Like the markup is almost nil.
right,
And
so they're not making much.
it is not. Like you are not making money hand over fist
Yeah.
making comic books.
Right.